Hi everyone, my name is Grace Garrett and today I'll be presenting on cultural fusion, my project with Christopher Garza. Cultural fusion theory was developed by Steven Croucher and Eric Kramer in 1992. They wanted to expand on the integrative theory of intercultural adaptation and critique the limitations of similar theories, such as cross-cultural adaptation theory. Their theory is an attempt to better explain the dynamic coevolution of culture through the mixing of newcomers and a host culture. Croucher and Kramer also seek to predict the process of cultural adaptation, which distinguishes this theory from differential adaptation theory. Eric Kramer commented on his motivation to co-create this theory and said, "I had lived and worked in Asia, Europe, and Central America when I learned global and intercultural communication literature. It presumed what ought to be rather than what is. Development was portrayed as diffused from center to periphery, and immigrants conformed to mainstream culture. But I observed a world with many voices, where others have value because they are different, and cultural evolution had no goal. I observed multi-channel, reciprocal, and procreative cultural fusion, innovation springing from deviance." What is cultural fusion theory? Cultural fusion theory is an intercultural communication theory outlining the process by which immigrants and other newcomers adopt some traits of the dominant culture while maintaining aspects of their original cultural identities. The unique aspect of this theory posits that this process will undoubtedly transform the dominant culture at the same time. Newcomers in society fuse together different aspects of their cultures to create a unique and ever-evolving intercultural identity. This impacts the individuals of the host culture as well, and changes aspects of their cultural identity and cultural norms. The purpose of cultural fusion theory is to explain the intertwining of different cultures creating a new way of life. Both cultures take qualities and customs and create new forms of culture that can be passed on to new generations. Cultural fusion theory in depth. Cultural fusion is the process of integrating new information and generating new cultural forms. Cultural fusion theory recognizes the world as a churning information environment of cultural legacies, competing and complementing one another, forming new cultural expressions in all aspects of life, including music, cuisine, governance, spirituality, family structures, and so forth. In this case, using the term coevolution is quite limiting. It restricts our understanding of cultural interchange to only two cultures synthesizing into a third culture. However, the term pan-evolution proposes that within the human experience, especially in the age of the internet with so many channels of information from across the globe, each human has become an agent of convergence for far more than just two cultures. This process of pan-evolution involves countless channels, not merely two cultures coming together to form a third hybrid culture. This is one of the many aspects that makes cultural fusion theory different from similar intercultural theories. Acculturation and the integrative theory of cross-cultural adaptation. The integrative theory of cross-cultural adaptation is a theory developed by Yeon Kim to explain how people who move from one culture to another adapt to the larger host culture in which they live. Cross-cultural adaptation is defined as the attempt to establish and maintain a functional and reciprocal relationship with the new cultural environment. According to Dr. Steven Croucher, one of the co-creators of cultural fusion theory. In the integrative theory of cross-cultural adaptation, human development is not to grow a repertoire of competencies and understandings of different cultures, but to unlearn one set to make room for another, more correct set that is the dominant mainstream culture. Cultural fusion theory criticizes this concept of assimilation as it functions to eliminate differences, therefore sacrificing identities and meanings to mold into the dominant culture. However, cultural fusion theory does incorporate the concept of acculturation, meaning the process of learning some of the host culture's behaviors, beliefs, and values. This is necessary for both newcomers and members of the mainstream culture in order to evolve a unique and hybrid culture.